Hello everybody and welcome back to the Data Playbook. Today we have the Sunday pregame reviews, so let's get right into it. Getting into the Bears at the Bengals, you have the Bears favored on the money line with a spread of 2.5 and a total point line of 51.5. Just looking at some of the rankings, you have the Bears pretty average between their scoring rank, allowed passing, their passing. Their rushing rank sticks out a little bit more at a rank of 9, and they're pretty bad at stopping other teams from rushing. They also don't utilize their tight ends very much and don't stop tight ends that well. The Bengals, though, are one of the worst teams in the league defensively, being the worst at stopping the rush and the worst at stopping their opponents from scoring. They're also pretty bad at stopping the pass and really bad at stopping tight ends. Offensively, they don't have much else to show other than a terrible rushing rank, a little below average passing rank, and a below average scoring rank. Also don't utilize their tight ends very much. So we'll just flip over to the averages that these correlate to. And jumping straight into the quarterbacks, you have Caleb Williams and Joe Flacco. Williams averages almost 17 fantasy points per game, while Flacco averages 13.5 fantasy points per game. 4 interceptions this season for Caleb Williams, no other turnovers. 6 interceptions for Joe Flacco, with 2 fumbles lost due to a sack. And then moving over to your averages. And we can look at the carry share here. I have it fixed up a little bit where the slices pop out now, so it's easier to find them again. But here we see Caleb Williams with 18.6% of the team's total carry share. Over here with Joe Flacco, we know he runs a lot less, so he gets this much smaller piece of the carries, which probably equates to about this 6% as well, maybe 7%. The running backs in this matchup are DeAndre Swift and Chase Brown. Swift averages 15.9 PPR points per game, and Chase Brown averages just under 12, with the only turnover between the two of them coming from DeAndre Swift on a rushing fumble. If we move over their averages and then look at their share, here you have DeAndre Swift with 53.2% of the team's rushing carry share, and Chase Brown over here with a larger share of about 65.6%. So I also looked, and it looks like actually Swift looks to be listed as out. So you actually have Kyle Monage, I think is how you say his name, but I'm not sure. He doesn't have too much to speak of for this season. If we flip over the averages, since he does have several games that he's participated in, and he does have a 22.3% of the team's carry share. For your receivers, you have Rome Odunze and Jamar Chase. Rome averages 15.5 fantasy points per game, while Jamar Chase averages 21.3. The only turnover between the two of them comes from Jamar Chase on a receiving fumble. And here's your averages, as well as our receiving share down here, where Rome gets about 28.5% of the team's total receiving share, which is the largest percentage out of everybody else on the team. And Jamar Chase gets about 41.6% of the team's receiving share, which is also larger than anybody else on the team. Your number 2 receivers are DJ Moore and T. Higgins. DJ Moore averages just under 10 fantasy points per game, while T. Higgins has about 10.6 average PPR points per game. There's no turnovers, so we'll just flip over the averages. And for their team receiving share, DJ Moore gets 19.9% of the team's total receiving yards, and over here T. Higgins gets 20.8% of the team's total receiving yards. And finally with the tight ends, you have Cole Kmet and Noah Fant. Both these guys don't have too much this year, with Cole Kmet averaging about 5 fantasy points per game. Noah Fant not much better at 8.7. The only turnovers come from Noah Fant as a receiving fumble. And then with your averages down here, as well as their week by weeks if you need it. With their team receiving share, Cole Kmet gets about 8% of the team's total receiving yards, just under. And Noah Fant gets just over 11% of the team's total receiving yards. So there's that game. It seems like Chicago should have the advantage with the rushing game over the terrible defense from the Bengals. However, without DeAndre Swift, that might be a hindrance for them. So they might have to go to their passing game, which they should still find success on with the Bengals. But I think no matter what, really in the end, as long as the Bears play well, they should beat the Bengals with this terrible defense. But I guess we'll just have to see how the game plays out. So that's all I have for this game today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment on what else you might want to see in the future. Other than that, thank you so much for watching.